This daily dose is brought to you by Pirate.Black. ARRR!
What's up, guys, and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be discussing my favorite cryptocurrency, my favorite true cryptocurrency, Pirate Chain. Now, before we go any further, I just need to make it clear that I don't have a complete, in-depth understanding of the technology behind these projects. That's mainly because I don't have an education in blockchain. I never went too deep into the tech side of things. All my investments are based on narratives and like fundamental aspects involving like market psychology and such, because I do have an education in psychology, and that's where I kind of focus my attention. However, in this case with this project, I did look a little bit more in depth into the tech, and to my understanding, this is the most private cryptocurrency that's in existence. And it's even more private than Monero and 100% more private than Bitcoin. And that's one of the main reasons that I believe this potentially can be the next Bitcoin, quote unquote. All the information that I did receive in terms of the tech was taken from people in the Pirate Chain community and in the Monero community, in the privacy coin space as a whole, and all of them speak highly of Pirate Chain. And it's essentially, like I said, the most private cryptocurrency. Now, obviously, don't take anything I say here as financial advice. Don't be an idiot, just like the disclosure at the end of the video. YouTubers are people too. They have no clue what they're doing, especially the big ones. Don't listen to them. Anyway, this is an article that I found on Twitter from this account, Lil Sardi. I've been speaking with him quite a bit about different projects, and this whole article is fantastic. It gives a complete, in-depth idea of how Pirate Chain is going to be a massive thing, and he called it the hyper-pirate-chainization. Jeez, it's hard to say. Anyway, and I agree with this narrative. I really believe that's what's going to end up happening eventually, mainly because of the bigger picture of where our monetary system is going to head. At a certain point, when they bring in CBDCs, we are going to have a complete lack of privacy in our day-to-day activities. People are going to need another form of payment in order to survive when you're getting taxed on the amount of meat that you eat or the amount of carbon footprint you have. People are going to try to go around this. Obviously, you'll have your average people that don't give a shit, and they are going to go ahead and just be happy with their little CBDCs and be happy to be taxed and believe it's great for the environment or whatever the hell. But for people that are a little bit more intelligent, you're going to need another way to get around this. And as of now, the only two sources that I can think of in terms of like digital payment that would replace cash are Pirate Chain and Monero. And don't get me wrong, Monero is great. It's just that from my understanding of things, Pirate Chain is more private, and you would want to go with the more private option when there's a bunch of laws that are going to be involved and complete dictation over your dictating over your financial life and the spending that you do on a day-to-day basis. Like I said, he wrote an amazing article, and like I find this funny. This is like an accurate depiction of how private Bitcoin is, especially in comparison to Pirate Chain. And I mean, like, we've seen what happened with Bitcoin when there was the you-know-whats in Ottawa, and like most of those people ended up having their wallets frozen or whatever happened, and all the exchanges were kind of like, I mean, they obviously did it wrong. There were ways around that to not get your stuff frozen, right? They didn't follow the right protocol to avoid being seen, like going through major exchanges and such. But like, they could have went to ATMs, for instance. But in the grand scheme of things, Bitcoin is very transparent. Had they used Pirate Chain, nothing would have happened to them. No one would even know. And yeah, so like, he wrote a great article, and it speaks about like everything about Pirate Chain and how it's going to be globalized in a sense at some point. I don't know when people are going to be smart enough to see this. It might have to happen only when they're pushed to that point, when they're going to be forced to go looking into this. But by then, it's obviously too late in a lot of ways, and Pirate Chain might be incredibly valued at that point. And, you know, I mean, it's better late than never, but still, it's better to get in now, in my opinion, and have this and be prepared for what will come. inevitably when they bring CBDCs, which is obviously a course of action they've been talking about, and it's something that's going to be happening, in my opinion. Pirate Chain has all the facets that Bitcoin has, except that it's actually fungible. That's one of the main things that this article goes into as well. And like, essentially it's just speaking about all the privacy aspects, and one of the main things that I read here in the pirate code was, where is it? Hold on. Yeah, it was in comparison with Monero, right? And they basically said that the fundamental problem of mixing methods through, though, is that the transaction data is not being hidden through encryption. Like, Ring CT is a system of dissociation where information is still visible in the blockchain. Mind that a vulnerability might be discovered at some point in the future, which allows traceability since Monero's blockchain provides a record of every transaction that's taken place. So basically, the way Monero operates in comparison to Pirate Chain is that there is, I mean, albeit very small, there's still a chance that they can figure out where the money came from, right? Pirate Chain pretty much eliminates that completely. It uses a certain type of technology that almost like kills the idea of your address and the other address, and you can't see it. It's just completely hidden. And I've used it, I've tried, it's really fast as well. It's incredibly fast, incredibly cheap to send, and it's like, in terms of a use case narrative, this thing is going to go nuts, right? And right now we're sitting at, let's see, 46 cents. We hit an all-time high at around 16 bucks. So even if you're thinking on just a ROI perspective, like if you want to be able to make a bit of money off of this, in my opinion, in the next bull run, whenever that is, projects like this that are based in high-level privacy are going to go nuts, because as you can see day by day, we're increasing the amount of surveillance in our monetary system, which it's already high. And like I said, with the CBDC narrative, eventually they're going to come and at some point, in my opinion, they're going to try to eliminate physical cash as well completely. Like with or without the CBDCs, you're not going to be able to use physical cash. In my opinion, that's going to be based on some sort of idea where a virus is implemented or some sort of thing like that is implemented to discourage you from using cash completely, and they'll abolish it. One of my theories, at least in the midterm here, is that they were going to use monkeypox for that. Now, whether or not they go ahead with that, I have no clue. It would make a lot of sense for them to try to do that. In discussion of the cashless society, this is just an interesting thing I found, where like it speaks about all the stuff that we'd be losing when we don't have physical cash. Like you'd have no more tuck-away cash for those preparing to leave domestic violence, no more purchases off marketplace unless you want to risk bank transfer fraud. But I mean, in that case, it would also be no more purchases that would go against the government narrative at that point. So, like I said, if the green agenda continues forth, and eventually there's taxes on your carbon footprint, don't be expecting to be eating a bunch of meat without being taxed heavily. And that's where Pirate Chain and Monero come in. And that's the main reason, in my opinion, from a fundamental perspective, why I believe they have the potential, especially Pirate Chain, to be the next Bitcoin. What value that makes it, I have no clue. I just know it's a lot more valuable than it is right now. In my opinion, it's completely undervalued. Yes, continue. No more garage sales. You wouldn't be able to do that like the same way. Obviously, you'd be taxed on all these things. No more cash donations to hungry homeless, as you passed. I mentioned that in a tweet a long time ago. No more cash slipped into the hands of, to a child from a grandparent. Not that that matters the same way. But yeah, like all these little things are going to be gone when they bring in a cashless society, and that would just further push the importance of Pirate Chain and of Monero. Now, like I said, that's just my take. I believe the CBDC narrative and the going completely digital narrative is what will push privacy coins, especially Pirate Chain, into the forefront of the crypto space. And once people that invested in Bitcoin early on finally get an understanding that their Bitcoin is not truly private, at least not to the way they think, they'll probably be leaving Bitcoin and heading to these projects, in my opinion. At least that's what I would do. At least a small allocation of what I hold, I would try to get it into privacy coins that I can actually use on a daily basis. that would at least give me the opportunity to buy the things I want without having to be monitored 24/7. Now, how do we make this a bigger project? One of the best ways would be to share the word of Pirate Chain, discuss it with people, and try to get your local vendors and people that you deal with in terms of business on a daily basis to begin accepting Pirate Chain. That would protect you in the future from this CBDC hell that we're heading into. However, like I said, I think this is almost inevitable because of the level of tech, at least to my understanding. The level of tech is so high quality that it'll be almost a certainty that people will flee there when all the other shitcoin privacy projects collapse. And I'm not speaking about Monero. Monero's not a shitcoin. I'm just speaking about the other ones. Anyway, so thank you guys for watching. If you like the content, please subscribe. Leave a comment what you guys think about it. I'm curious what other people see here. If I said anything wrong regarding the technology, please comment below and explain, because I'm always willing to learn. I just have, like I said, a base layer understanding, and I'm trying to get a bigger grasp on this space. And yeah, thank you guys for watching. Take care.
Follow the treasure to pirate.black, because financial privacy today is freedom tomorrow. ARRR!